over here is the retail sections for switchboard 1, which is a 1600 amp service, 400 amps sharing in between the retail, and here stepping over here would be to our house power, back of house panels. It's 480 distribution coming in, but all house power distributed panels are stepped down through a transformer, which we'll be stepping over to here to show you where the mains come from. The main distributions would be 8H1, which is level 8. It's in the electric room. Stepping down to a transformer there to feed levels 8L1 and 10L1 for house power lighting, receptacles, common areas, and stuff like that, exhaust fans. 9H1 is level 9, which also is high volt 480 going up, but stepping down to another 75 kVA transformer, which feeds levels 13, 16, 19, 22, 25, and 28, which are all low volt panels fed through the transformer for all same common areas, exhaust fans, lighting, all in the common area, and that is just normal power. Over here we'll go to the ATS2, which is another 400 amp distribution, 480, which also will correspond with the generator, as Gentech spoke about earlier. Once this is tripped or ignition open switch, it'll then engage the transfer switch at ATS2 to engage and turn on the generator, which this also operates on normal power from the switchboard. Your elevator systems, your supply fan systems, your RTU systems that are 480 here, and one exhaust fan that is 480, which is pertaining to the generator, which will go on.
So that's the one you shut down and it kicked the generator?
Right. Actually, this is the one we shut down, was ATS1, which I was going to next. This is 480 equipment that's handling the back of house elevators, which is 480, supply fans 480. This ATS1 here is also 480, but it's stepping down for all your common areas, which this will feed level 6, 12, 21, and 30, which are all EM panels, and they're stepping down from a transformer to 120 for your emergency lighting, exit signs, also door mags, fire alarm panels, booster panels that are on the upper floors. And that's basically what that controls is egress, path of egress, all your garage lighting, and all the back of house will be lit as well. Any PC equipment also gets lit off of this too. Generator will always be on, even when generator is on. It'll transfer from this to the generator. It's all corresponds together. So all this will still be lit when emergency does go into effect. So this is the main for the whole service. It shouldn't be, we could leave this on, but it shouldn't be really exposed like this. But if you need to test system, this is a main breaker that you could just test instead of switching all of them on to make sure all the EM circuits go on all at once. 10-second, no more than a 10-second delay. I counted it, it was 6 actually when it lit back up. So for this section, that's what those are. And we also have your water source here. It's 480 PC equipment, not backed on emergency. It's just domestic pump for the units. And 1H1 is pertaining to all your back of house, which is right here. This panel stepping down to a 75 kVA to a 120 208 to give you power here in these equipment rooms, all your service outlets, any convenience outlets here on the first floor. Also pertains to the lobby area. Air handlers will be coming out of here. This actual air handler gets piped out of here as well. All your equipment areas on this back of house, the air handlers come out of this panel. And that's pretty much what these panels handles: back of house equipment, lighting, and convenience outlets for maintenance purposes back here.
There are conduits from the retail section into the retail space, correct?
Yes, 2 are overhead. These 2 overhead, sir. And I do have 4, but 2 of them got abandoned because of locations. And there's 2 others for the furthest retail spots on the southwest corners. All right, now this is switchboard 2 and switchboard 3, both identical, 2500 amp services coming in from APS from their step down transformer 120-208. So these are distributed from 480 already outside. This is going to be cable transfer to a tap box that is located in the front lobby, and from there we'll transfer from Siemens busway to distribute all the power for all the meter sections for all the tenant rooms from 8 all the way up to 30.
How are they broken down? How are the buses distributed? Are they every other floor? Is there a top and a bottom section? How does that work?
It's a 1-section raceway. So switchboard 2 controls 8 through 18, and it's a one raceway, and they got T-taps, which they tap off into a power mod, which is a breaker for service purposes. And
switchboard 2 is 8 to 18.
Yes.
This is the 10. Switchboard 3
Switchboard
handles the top.
handles 19 to 30,
Okay,
which 30 does not exist with any meters, but 30 gets fed down to 29 to that meter section.
Right. So there's a high and a low.
Yeah, lower floors and then higher floors, yes. Yep,
So
yeah.
when we're in the garage, that's where the bus route goes.
Right.
Yes, so this starts from the first floor all the way up, but this only goes to 18, caps off.
Right.
This one travels all the way to 29. So this one has the most distance on it. In case of any faults or tripping on this meter, you would have to pull this lever to keep charging it. This will indicate a window here telling you that it's charged or discharged. Right now it's in the discharge position because it will not let you charge it again because we are in the closed position. The circuit is closed. We have live power. Once this will indicate if it's tripped or if somebody just simply opened the circuit. So it'll indicate both. And then the ready will tell you it's okay. Once you're charged, both of these will actually flip. It'll say okay, and this one will say charged. And it'll have a yellow tint behind it as well, to letting you know it's charged, ready for you to close the circuit. When you do that, recommend you kind of look away, just for practice. We've always done that. But this is a very, very intense breaker. Once it's under charge, it just flings right into position. So, other than that, in order to lock it out, you would have to open the circuit. This would be the lever to then release your lockout tagout if for any reason you need to service from this section to the tap box. If anything needs to be serviced from the meter sections, they have their own lockout breaker that you could lock out there, and they could service any meter sockets that they need or pull them or whatever they need to de-energize. But at any point in time, if you need to de-energize here, that would be the process, and this will be the lockout mechanism. It won't engage unless it's open. So a lot of these are all the safety features that Siemens puts into their main breakers. Other than that, that covers the busway on the distribution end. All right, this is one of the meter sections off of switchboard 2. This is the first power mod that you'll get off of the bus duct riser, which this is switchboard 2, feeds from 8 all the way to 18. These are all your meter sockets. Everything's labeled room number per room number. It's identification for APS so they could do their billing. Over here is the switchboard 3 bus run, which will feed the upper floors. This is just a continuation through the floors. And once we get to 19, you'll start seeing the same tap off, power mod, and meter section. All of this distribution is 208, excuse me. Then over here we have our house power distribution. This is 9H1, where it first comes to. Stepping down to the 75 kVA transformer to 120-208. Coming to a disconnect to distribute to the low volt normal side panels for all your common areas, lighting and receptacles in these lobbies and corridors, exhaust fans. This will be feeding 13 L1, 16 L1, 19 L1, 22 L1, 25 L1, and 29 L1. Sorry, excuse me, 28 L1, and that's normal power. Then you get up to level 12, you'll have another high volt panel as well, a tap to a transformer, and that'll be your emergency powers, which controls these boosters that we have on each floor. All of this fire alarm has to pertain to all the emergency egress. You also have grounding. If anything is to be added or anything, you have your grounding purpose here for all equipment. All this is protected by our grounding rod farm that is directly located in our electric room. Other than that, these are all for the tenants' rooms here. APS can shut off as they please, or when tenants move and move in, they'll just flick accounts, and that's pretty much it.